Hello and welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining our webinar, Faith, Culture, and Youth Digital Pathways for People and the Planet. My name is Hannah Block, and I am facilitating today's session. I am part of the UNEP Faith for Earth Youth Council in my role as advisor, and I'm based out of Harvard University pursuing graduate studies and research in this intersection. We are here to discuss today the digital transition and sustainable development centering youth development. So just some background before we dive right in. The Faith for Earth Youth Council, or the Faith for Earth Youth Coalition, is a specialized group of the UN Environment Program working with faith and interfaith actors to address the triple planetary crisis. The Faith for Earth Youth Council is a group of youth leaders within, comprised of youth of every region, every major faith group, and a myriad of ethnic racial identities. So in commemoration of International Youth Day, we launched an initiative, Faith and Youth, Digital Pathways for Sustainable Development, in line with this year's theme. Our project is designed to explore how youth of different faiths and cultural communities globally leverage digital tools to foster resilience, build communities, and engage in social and environmental action towards the Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs. So why is this theme important? As the world rapidly changes, climate shifts, digital transitions, and more, we are still far from achieving the SDGs, which are crucial for a peaceful and prosperous future. Digital technologies play a key role in achieving these goals, influencing 70% of the 169 SDG targets, as cited from the United Nations Department of Economic and Social Affairs. So both youth and faith communities are very large, powerful, and under-mobilized groups. Faith communities represent 80% of the global population, according to the Pew Research Center, and over 50% of the world's population is youth, under 30 years old, as per World Bank open data. So young people, especially digital natives, have greater access to digital tools and are already using them to create positive change in their communities. So change the slide here. Next one. Awesome. Some areas we seek to highlight in our initiative, centering the work of the Faith for Earth Youth Council, are 1. Digital activism. We want to highlight initiatives that use digital tools to raise awareness, mobilize resources, and drive collective action towards environmental sustainability and social justice. 2. Resilience and community building. We want to share how digital platforms are being used to strengthen community bonds, provide support during crises, and promote mental and emotional well-being. 3. Intergenerational collaboration. We want to discuss how digital tools are bridging generational gaps, enabling mentorship and fostering collaborative efforts for sustainable development. 4. Best practices and strategies. We want to share actionable digital tools and strategies for youth to advance sustainable development in their communities. And of course, ultimately suggest for all the importance of faith and culturally relevant solutions. So over the summer, we circulated a survey globally and held qualitative interviews with youth across faith and cultural communities representative of all regions of the world, youth age groups, and gender identities. And the next slide. I guess maybe the last slide. Before we move on to showcase from our incredible lineup of panelists, I will take a moment to set the scene with some findings from our research so far. To transition to our first theme here, the impact of digital tools, the youth respondents of our global survey reported that digital platforms importantly expose them to diverse perspectives on climate change and social issues, helping them think about solutions for their regions. Interestingly, 45% of our global youth respondents rated digital tools as impacting their faith and cultural communities highly positively, with 40% citing them as positive and only the remaining 15% falling in the neutral, negative, or highly negative categories. We have also accumulated many case studies of innovative digital initiatives, such as social media campaigns and online games during cultural and religious events that successfully engage youth in sustainability efforts. And yes, perfect. As for favorite tools, 31% of our respondents suggested virtual event platforms as the most effective digital tools for advancing the SDGs in their communities, followed by social media platforms at 28%, leveraging generative AI like ChatGPT at 13%, and then others like online educational resources, petition sites, and mobile apps following behind. As we dive into innovative digital tools that youth are leveraging in their communities to advance social and environmental change, we hope to spotlight these incredible initiatives for our fellow interfaith youth changemakers to find inspiration and to learn best practices to take with them as they take these innovations back to their communities and adjust them to be faith and culturally sensitive to their locality, which we know is paramount in any project or product implementation. So I would now like to turn over the floor to Zahra from Bahu Trust to tell us about Ummah For Earth's incredibly innovative youth-centered initiative introduced during Ramadan. Zahra Ahmad is the head of community development at Bahu Trust, an organization and movement committed to empowering and strengthening marginalized communities serving some of the most vulnerable sections of society. Zahra works with faith-based institutions, understanding the ways which faith-inspired programs work to tackle issues of poverty, inequality, and environmental crises through the adoption of Quranic teachings, as well as rooting development work within an Islamic framework. Over to you, Zahra.
Thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate this opportunity and, all the hard work that's gone into building this event. So, really excellent work from Hannah and the team. So just going to go into this. So I'm Zahra Ahmad. I'm the head of community development at the Bahu Trust, but I'm representing Ummah For Earth today, which is a coalition, alliance of organizations, 22 organizations worldwide with 5 individual allies. We focus on empowering communities and local environment initiatives, really working at the intersection between Islamic faith and climate action initiatives, specifically for young people. And, in the age of technology and social media, we try to allow Muslims to, share their voice and amplify their voices for our common home and our planet. So in 2021, this concept came about to create an app, a game, which was called Truth or Dare, to allow sort of environmental stewardship to be promoted through different types of digital competitive games as part of this app. So the idea that, humans are stewards of the earth and Islam has strong environmental values, calling Muslims to be more conscious environmentally for our actions. Ramadan is a time when Muslims are much more inclined towards taking those initiatives to better themselves. Often Muslims strive to abandon unhealthy vices and adopt healthier habits and routines during the holy month of Ramadan. So this game coincides with an intrinsic desire to better ourselves, purify our intentions, and serves as an opportunity for users to explore sustainable habits, inviting them to take environmental action. So in terms of how the game works, so this is a fun and interactive team-based game where the players have sort of the opportunity to either answer questions, share a truth, or take a dare. And in that sense, it's a unique and innovative approach to encouraging behavior change and allowing Muslim communities to build sustainable and ethical habits, and allowing them to engage in a very different, unique way. So the Truth or Dare challenge provides a fun and engaging way where users can either learn, develop knowledge of sustainability and ethical practices, or engage in their own. So just to show you sort of this is what the app looks like. And the aim was really to encourage young urban Muslims to take advantage of the holy month and engage in this way by taking actions which were, in order to facilitate achievable and lasting changes, which they could carry forward following the month of Ramadan. So reframing sustainability to be a competition and encouraging users to seek to champion sustainability offers a compelling framing and lens through which we may seek to approach education and build resilient young leaders in the climate and environmental space. We also utilized influencers to share the game and its premise with a larger following, which allowed the game to reach wider audiences and to be shared across social media platforms. So, digital technology and social media are essential tools used by the younger generation and younger populations to stay informed, share information, and enabling, mass communication across geographies and continents. So, this game really highlights the power and influence held by youth in adopting and how to adopt innovative techniques to reach them. Um, the game offers an alternative approach to knowledge sharing and the value and advantage within the competitive nature and spirit of the game. So often audiences are more sort of intuitively motivated by competitive elements or incentives. So combining this with an objective to achieve sustainable outcomes offers us a unique model with which we can adopt when engaging with younger audiences. So this is kind of how the app looks on the different screens here. In terms of stats, we had sort of a large reach in 2021 and 2022. You can see this on the screen here. 90,000 truths answered, 6,000 over 6,000 dares taken. So this is just a breakdown of sort of what we can achieve when using digital tools such as this one. And just to end, initially the objectives for Ummah For Earth Alliance when creating this Truth or Dare app was to encourage group participation in environmental action, celebrate and highlight sort of stories and heroes within our communities, and also demonstrate the cumulative impact and the power of small actions and behaviors which we can all make. And yeah, we really did have sort of a brilliant sort of response to this. And just to show you the last slide here. So this is the kind of setup of the game. So in terms of, you could either answer a truth question about yourself, about, a habit that you may be adopting, or you could take a dare, which would be encouraging users to either, venture outdoors, maybe connect with nature, or do a sort of an environmental or sustainable action. The other thing is that we could also, access facts and knowledge sharing if you chose that option. So that's sort of the mechanism and how that worked. Thanks so much.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Zahra. So inspiring and actionably for our youth changemakers out there. I see some concrete strategies for sure that emerge from your presentation and our earlier conversation. And that would be one, introducing or increasing visibility of the initiative through the use of hashtags and different social media sharing options. Two, leveraging popular and culturally relevant influencers to further engage young people. Three, ensuring accessibility through different language options, platforms available to sign up on, and user-friendly design. Four, providing different opportunities to share game results on social media to extend reach and hype. So all of those are fabulous and things to keep in mind as we create our own initiatives going forward and celebrate those that are out there. So moving on to our next area of interest in terms of digital pathways for advancing sustainable development across faith and cultural communities. Youth respondents of our global survey and qualitative interviews emphasized something that we had not considered in too much depth before beginning this research project, and that was the importance of digital tools for enhancing resilience today in this time of incredible volatility and global change. So resilience refers to the ability to recover quickly from difficulties, adapt to change, and withstand stress or adversity, enabling individuals or systems to bounce back. And we're now looking at this intersection of faith and culture and climate work and how it can particularly enhance individual, youth, and community resilience in work that can sometimes be absolutely devastating and utterly exhausting. So our finding here: digital platforms are essential tools for youth resilience, providing education, community support, and crisis response capabilities. Many of our respondents, like in our quote from Samuel, emphasize the importance of digital tools in connecting with others facing similar challenges that would otherwise be out of reach of their community, fostering a sense of belonging and empowering them to take action for people and the planet. Also, very interestingly, we found that digital tools are not just important to advance youth climate and social goals, but also for personal connection to faith and cultural communities, which we know to enhance individual and communal resilience and well-being. So actionably, what are these top digital pathways? The global youth respondents from our survey voiced that 1, access to diverse perspectives and teachings, 2, educational content, and 3, online faith and cultural communities and affinity groups were the top digital pathways for further engagement in their communities and community action. Concretely, these digital pathways can be as simple as what one of our respondents described: pop-up notifications and content uploaded on social media, like Thought of the Day by Sadhguru Whispers, which helps set a positive, productive, and holistic tone for the day, or as large-scale and innovative as the virtual reality meditation program described to one of us by our young Buddhist monk on our council, an app called Meta, an app in Meta called Zen VR, where people can use their glasses to learn directly from Buddha, building their everyday mindfulness and resilience, which are invaluable dispositions for leading change. In our conversations, many youth emphasize that faith-based principles such as compassion, justice, and community service inspire young people to engage in social and environmental causes. And cultural traditions, with their deep-rooted practices and communal bonds, offer a sense of identity and belonging, crucial in times of global change. Also, youth groups within religious and cultural organizations act as support networks, enabling young individuals to share experiences, seek guidance, and collectively navigate uncertainties. And digital tools now facilitate this all. Continuing to spotlight and learn from innovative interfaith initiatives to advance sustainable development, leveraging the newest tools creatively and immersively, I'd like to turn it over to the Interfaith Rainforest Initiative to hear about Amazonia Viva, their virtual reality film that immerses viewers in the Tapajós River region of the Brazilian Amazon, unveiling one of the most important ecosystems on the planet, thus bringing the Amazon closer to the people. The film is one of the main tools for raising awareness, training, and engaging religious leaders and communities, as well as the general public, about preserving the Amazon and defending the rights of Indigenous peoples. I know my fellow interfaith youth working for people on the planet were just utterly inspired by their work, and we certainly seek further intergenerational dialogue and collaboration in immersive initiatives like this. We have Carlos Vincente, the national facilitator of the Interfaith Rainforest Initiative in Brazil, here with us today. Please, over to you, Carlos. You have about 5 or 10 minutes.
Okay, thank you so much. The Interfaith Rainforest Initiative is a platform to support religious leaders so that they can expand their contribution to the preservation of climate balance, the conservation and sustainable use of the forest, and the protection of indigenous rights and local communities, and to influence national public opinion and the improvement of social environmental governance in Brazil, Peru, Colombia, DRC, and Indonesia. Since 1992, when the United Nations Conference on the Environment took place in Brazil, our opinion polls show that the absolute majority of the Brazilian population defends the environmental preservation, and especially the preservation of the Amazon. However, the desire of the population has not been accompanied by coherent actions. The majority of government officials elected by the population are not committed to the environmental preservation, and when elected, many of them act to weaken environmental protection laws and policies. This situation reveals that environmental preservation is a desire of the population, but it's not a value or a priority. This is why raising awareness and engaging religious leaders is so fundamental, as they have enormous influence on the formation of values and people's behavior in Brazil and the other countries. It is important to note that care of nature is a spiritual principle present in all religions and spiritual traditions. The dissemination of spiritual values and scientific knowledge among religious leaders has the potential to promote the engagement of millions of people in defending the climate and the forest in a short period of time. The Amazonia Viva was created as one of the IRI action strategies in this effort to raise awareness and engage religious leaders and communities, as well as the general population and social, political, governmental, and business leaders. Lasting 10 minutes, the film is an immersive experience through the Tapajós River region in the state of Pará, with the indigenous leaders Raquel Tupinambá as the protagonist. The film is spoken in Portuguese with dubbing in English, French, Spanish, and sign languages. The film seeks to contribute to the formation of a strong ethical, ecological, and spiritual value among the population regarding the importance and urgency of preserving the forest. The film is based on universal values about caring of nature, which are present in all religions and the spiritual tradition, as I said. The film Amazônia Viva aims to contribute to creating feeling of love for the forest and greater empathy with the indigenous peoples who live there. These feelings are fundamental to formation of a solid value in the society about the urgency to preserving forests. Value determine people's individual, political, and economic choices and priorities. The end of the destruction of the tropical forest in Latin America, Africa, and Asia depends on strong support from the population. The power of the population is very great because it elects government officials and consumes products and services on the market. If the majority of the population falls in love with the forest and mobilize to protect it, it will be possible to create the social and political condition for governments and companies to change their visions of development and commit to making the necessary investments to restore and preserve forests and to promote the rights of indigenous people and local communities. In the case of Brazil, 87% of the population lives outside the Amazon region, and 76% of the population living in the Amazon region lives in the cities, where the level of deforestation is very high. This means that the majority of the Brazilian population lives far from the forest and is not familiar with it. This distancing produces low engagement and favors the political and the economic forces that benefit from the destruction of the forest. The film combines virtual reality technology, the traditional knowledge of indigenous people, modern scientific knowledge, and the best of the art in terms of aesthetic, image, sounds, and musicality. As nature documentary place great emphasis on predatory relationships between animals, showing scenes of violence and danger. They end up unintentionally stimulating feelings of fear and disinterest in the population. The film Amazônia Viva was created so that people can get to know the forest as a wonderful space, unique in the world, and of great ecological, social, and economical importance for everyone's lives. But also at the home of the indigenous people, that a place where it is possible to live well and to be happy. The film also allows direct contact with indigenous people, presenting them as holders of valuable knowledge related to the biodiversity and fundamental to quality of life of all people, including people who live in cities. The film Amazônia Viva recognizes and values the importance of young indigenous women leaders who are currently leading the fight for forest preservation and rights. In terms of results, the film surprised us positively because we didn't know it would arouse such interest, nor that it would provoke such strong emotions. In 18 months, the film has already been shown to around 100,000 people in Brazil and several countries, always using virtual reality glasses, including at the COP27 and COP28. The film won the award for Best 360-degree virtual reality film at Barcelona Planet Film Festival in 2023. The film has already been seen by a whole social segment from judges from the Supreme Court of Brazil and from the G20 countries to business people in the World Economic Forum, religious leaders in different religions in Brazil, young people, children, indigenous people, intellectual artists, influence, digital influence, and very poor people. To evaluate the potential of mobilization of the film, we carry out scientific research and found that after watching the film, the number of people donating money to help Amazon increased by 50%, from 20% to 30%. The interest in the film is huge, and our challenge is how to scale up it so that the film is in all schools, libraries, NGOs, and education organizations in the Amazon region and in the other parts of the country, in the other countries. The film became a key to talking about climate change, forest, and indigenous people everywhere. It has allowed us to access people, leaders, and institutions that was very difficult to have contact. Finally, we have learned from the result of the film that we can have better results in raising awareness and engaging population when we seek to connect people through love. Love is the most powerful and transformative force we have in the world. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Carlos, for coming here and sharing. I'm so inspired and yeah, couldn't agree more. Love is the most important thing. Awesome. So I think of intergenerational communication and collaboration. So let me just skip to that. Can we here? Okay, so we have intergenerational collaboration. Lastly, we will move on to discuss this, how digital tools are bridging generational gaps, enabling mentorship and fostering collaborative efforts for sustainable development. So there are many advantages of this intergenerational collaboration that UNEP Faith for Earth has been advancing for some time. Elders can impart traditional knowledge and values, while youth often bring in fresh perspectives and technological expertise. The innovations that come from this reverse mentorship are really untapped. Combining traditional practices with modern technology can lead to innovative approaches for sustainable development. So over 70% of our youth respondents highlighted technological literacy issues as the most significant challenge to intergenerational collaboration, followed by communication style differences and resistance to new tools. This gives us ideas about where to best intervene. From our exploratory research, we learned quite a lot from youth about their strategies. For example, facilitated dialogues. Youth leaders at Religions for Peace, who we will hear from momentarily, facilitated sessions to engage youth in often inaccessible policymaking bodies and institutions, connecting them with older generations, enhancing youth access and intergenerational collaboration. Hybrid approaches, combining online and offline interactions to include those with limited digital access and building their digital literacy in the process. For example, when the youth leaders at Ummah For Earth were launching the Green Guide for Hajj and Umrah, a mobile application that allows Muslim pilgrims to perform Hajj and Umrah in an environmentally friendly manner, they held a combination of virtual and in-person sessions to ensure that all members of their community could download, launch, and navigate the apps effectively. This ensured that nobody was left behind due to digital literacy gaps, differing communication channels, or otherwise. And understanding your audience from the get-go. Youth respondents emphasize that beginning connection and collaboration through a mode that will reach older generations is necessary for effective engagement. For example, many youth cited using email before moving to other platforms, such as social media and virtual meetings. So I'm now going to turn it to Soha Khan Media and Communications Specialist at Religions for Peace, and Madeleine Canfield, Religions for Peace Youth Media Team and International Global Interfaith Youth Network member, to tell us about Religions for Peace intergenerational work, enhancing youth access and intergenerational collaboration. Over to you guys.
Hi, everyone. I would like to start by thanking the organizers of this event and for the discussion that we're having today on International Youth Day. Madeleine and I will speak about Religions for Peace, our projects, best practices, share examples of our work, and more. So, led by its World Council that consists of over 100 religious leaders, Religions for Peace is the world's most representative multi-religious platform that works to advance common action among the world's religious communities for peace and has been working for over 50 years. Religions for Peace provides a platform not only to religious leaders, but to youth as well, establishing youth networks within its interreligious councils or IRCs. Religions for Peace gives youth access to platforms to voice their concerns, propose solutions, and collaborate with others within the IRCs, their regions, or globally through virtual and in-person convenings. So some effective strategies that we found that help to bridge the intergenerational gaps include inclusive designs that ensure digital platforms are user-friendly and accessible to all ages, which help in fostering effective intergenerational collaboration. Trainings for people of all ages on digital tools and platforms, which help mitigate technology barriers and enhance collaboration. Fostering and building trust between different generations through open communication and shared goals, which is essential in successful intergenerational engagement. And using online technologies like virtual meetings to be inclusive and ensure that there is diverse participation, which includes all generations and ages. So there are several challenges that hinder effective youth participation in decision-making processes, such as limited access to resources, such as trainings, equipment, and information in certain regions. Securing funding and access to these resources is another obstacle, making it difficult for youth to fully engage. Bridging the gap between youth and older generations can be challenging, often leading to tensions when established leaders are reluctant to share decision-making power or they are unfamiliar with digital landscapes. Poor internet penetration or access to some areas makes it difficult for online participation, making it harder for some youth to attend webinars, trainings, or to even send video messages. And finally, mobilization efforts are complicated by different time zones and busy schedules, making it a challenge to gather everyone at the same time. However, despite these challenges, there are successes in our efforts, and Religions for Peace initiatives have increased youth participation, leading to more inclusive and innovative approaches to sustainable development. Programs that focus on digital literacy have empowered youth leaders to effectively use digital tools, enhancing their engagement and influence in policy discussions. Capacity building programs and trainings have equipped youth with new skills, enabling them to create projects and access resources more effectively. This has increased youth involvement and has also fostered global networking, providing greater support for their initiatives. And further, Religions for Peace has been successful in promoting youth leadership within intergenerational partnerships, which we will showcase very shortly. So here I will share a few impactful projects by the Religions for Peace Youth Media Team and International Youth Committee. Religions for Peace promotes the work of its youth through various channels, partnering with the IYC and YMT for social media campaigns that emphasize the role of faith in addressing global issues. So, for example, most recently, we had the Welcoming the Neighbor campaign for World Refugee Day, which highlighted religious teachings on kindness and hospitality, while the 16 Days of Activism Against Gender-Based Violence campaign showed how different faiths advocate for gender equality. These initiatives underline the importance of peace building as a key aspect of sustainability, addressing issues like violence and the environment that often stem from conflict and can have a severe impact on sustainable development. And sometimes these issues start online because of hate speech. These campaigns also work to address these issues that lead to peace building and also show how youth are using digital tools to widen their reach and their impact for sustainable objectives. Earlier this year, Madeleine and I had also worked on a video project titled The Voices of Children, where we collected 36 video submissions from children across Asia, Africa, and Latin America. and these children shared what peace means to them. So they're simple yet profound wishes, like going to school or helping animals or just to be happy, reminds us of the importance of including children in our peace-building efforts. And this video, which was shown at a high-level forum hosted by Religions for Peace, there were attendees that were religious leaders, government officials, and UN representatives. So it set the tone for the forum, highlighting that it's crucial to ensure that children, as part of our youth, also need to have a voice in decision-making spaces. Religions for Peace actively engages youth in policy dialogues by providing platforms for them to participate in decision-making forums. And an example of this is the Religions for Peace at a Crossroads conference, in which youth religious leaders, policymakers, civil society all convened to address social and environmental challenges such as housing, food and water security, access to healthcare, education, green spaces, and more. And then this conference had led to the creation of the Manresa 2022 Pact, a global commitment by those present to address urban challenges and foster partnerships across diverse sectors with a focus on multi-religious collaboration. The planning process for this conference spanned almost a year and involved a collaboration between youth and decision makers, leveraging technology to ensure success. The Pact's impact extended beyond the conference, with youth like Bhikkhu Vasubandhu, who is a member of the Religions for Peace IYC and presented the Pact to U.S. Senator of Arizona. Additionally, members of the Religions for Peace IYC and YMT conducted interviews with participants, including religious leaders and government officials, highlighting the importance of youth involvement. And these interviews are available on our YouTube channel and website. So now I will pass to Madeleine to talk a bit more about Manresa and her experiences as a member of the Religions for Peace youth media team.
So, Jai Gurudev and Namaste to everyone, and thank you to the organizers for having me on this youth webinar on this International Youth Day. I think it's very inspiring to be in this webinar, to hear the work that's shared, and also it's a very important webinar to highlight positive interfaith youth climate work using digital tools, especially because we live in an age of anger and war through hate speech on social media. So just to touch a little bit on Manresa, I just want to say that it just was an amazing transformational and learning experience for me. I mean, like senior religious leaders, youth, staff members, and government officials drew up this climate pact. And there was no hierarchy, no domination, no ego, and everyone was just like really listening to each other. So it was like a safe space created where we all could share our ideas and thoughts to support and help each other. And to draw up this pact, it was like very inclusive because youth were involved in the planning process from the very beginning in the 1-year planning. And we were given a space and a say at the tables for important decision making. So that was really like, for me, a positive way of intergenerational inclusivity. So to move on to the next slide, I just want to give examples of online and digital tools in a positive way that can help sustainable development. And these are like a series of hybrid conferences, and they were intergenerational and online webinars that took place this year to address mostly the climate challenges that we have. So the first one you will see was a UNEA 6-side event with the African Council of Religious Leaders. And basically, it was about the interaction of harnessing the power of women of faith and interfaith youth for the environment. And here I presented a topic on to foster high-level policy discourse and advocacy to integrate gender responsive approaches into climate policies in Africa. And so I spoke about my ongoing engagements with the United Nations Environmental Program, the GO7, and my engagements were to strengthen multi-stakeholder partnerships for faith actors to have a space to be included in these specific climate policy engagements in the GO7 process. So it's been quite a learning experience for me to be involved in high-level policy engagements. The second one was a for Peace and the Islamic Cooperation Youth Forum, and it was a side event for empowering youth and catalyzing faith-inspired approaches to SDGs 16 and 17 in the climate change agenda. Then we had another conference for Earth Day, which was to love and respect the earth, and this was furthering multi-religious, multi-sectorial, and intergenerational collaboration to address the climate change, and this was with Religions for Peace International and the city of Manresa. And then the last one is it was an interfaith presentation at a hybrid event of interfaith collaboration as an imperative for building a sustainable future with the Multi-Faith Advisory Council group. So just to move on, to just highlight a few youth projects and how we approach things with the Religions for Peace Youth Media team. We are always supported and empowered through education capacity building by Religions for Peace International. So we've been given a series of media trainings with Dutch Welle Academia over the years to develop skills that could empower us to give voices to other youth and their work. And we did media coverage in various Religions for Peace interfaith generational conferences. So it was just like 8 of us youth that met together in Bonn for the first time, and we were strangers. We became friends, and then like after 2 weeks of unforgettable joyous moments, we transformed into a family. And up to today, we highlight messages of hope and peace as a youth media team. And this personal relationship allowed us to keep working despite the miles and the distance. And that's the power of technology, using it in a positive way for peace building and sharing our messages. So Religions for Peace Youth became more than just a network. It's a safe space. It's a place to share our voices. It's a family who love, respect, and honor one another, building relationships of faith. And it's a story and commitment of love and friendship. So the next slide just shows some of our online work that we've been engaged with over the years. So I'm not going to go through that. You'll find it on our social media pages. Then to move on to the last two things I want to share is that the Religions for Peace Interfaith Youth Climate Forum was formed. And this has been my local interfaith youth climate work in South Africa. And it emerged out of the Our Earth, Our Responsibility campaign through the 2019 Innovative Youth Prize, which I had won. And it's a youth-led project. It was aimed at empowering youth leadership. And there were 7 strategic plans that I designed to foster positive interfaith and spiritual climate action with a focus on education, grassroots community engagement, intergenerational partnerships, and advocacy in South Africa. And so the project was successful in climate awareness, engaging with 20 schools through garden project, planting trees, earth meditations, interfaith climate blogs and dialogues, art projects, and hosting intergenerational eco workshops, and a lot of online campaigns and webinars. And then I just give a few stats of how we've grown over the years through our online and physical presence. And then lastly, the last slide I want to share is some amazing work that the Religions for Peace United Kingdom Interfaith Youth Network is doing. I've been involved with them, and they've been doing a lot of online climate webinars, training programs for education capacity building for youth and the broader public. And just to highlight some of the things is that I'm also a social and sustainable professional architectural technologist. And so I was able to share knowledge on these webinars on sustainable architecture and eco homes. And including my interfaith youth climate work in South Africa for community grassroots mobilization. And what is amazing about this whole thing, this whole process, is that Be the Change workbooks, eco checklists, and manuals were created out of these webinars to further promote education for people to do their own positive climate action. And I thought that was just amazing, using online digital tools in that way. And these guys are doing just some amazing work. You can check out their Facebook page. There's a lot of information there. So I just want to end off by saying there's equal good and equal bad in everything in life. And with discrimination and doing positive actions that benefits humanity and the earth, online digital tools can be used as a powerful, positive force to change the narratives of the climate crisis for sustainable development. So I hope this has inspired you and encourages you to do more climate work out there. Interfaith collaboration with common purpose can build societal cohesion and contribute to the fabric of peaceful, sustainable, and healthy communities. And these technology tools are important for a greater impact to build a greater powerful message of love and unity to make greater strides in peace building and climate initiatives. So thank you so much for letting me to share our work. And we're most grateful. Thank you.
Thank you so much to you both. That's absolutely inspiring and incredible. Thank you. I think we'll just give Madeleine one more chance to see if she can connect. And if not, we'll just move into some questions. So Madeleine, are you there? We don't hear you. Okay, so before we hop into questions, I just want to say that unfortunately we're coming to a close, but this work will be continued by the Faith for Earth Youth Council as we continue this project on digital pathways for sustainable development, looking across faith and cultural communities to spotlight incredible initiatives, seek out and share best practices to enrich our work and that of our fellow youth. So we plan to share 3 resources. One will be Contemporary Strategies and Messages of Hope, how youth are finding meaning and identity in an increasingly ambiguous world, drawing on faith, cultural traditions, and digital tools to navigate and thrive amidst rapid global change. 2, a toolkit for intergenerational connection and action towards sustainable development to disseminate within our network and beyond. And 3, spotlights and case studies of youth of diverse faith and cultural communities, leveraging digital tools to spearhead initiatives for social and climate good. So these are hopefully all in the works. But yes, we will now move on to questions. If anyone has a question, please feel free to raise your hand and one of our incredible panelists will answer. We did have some questions in the chat about sharing slides, and we can absolutely do that after the session. Oh, we have a question from Neil. Amazing presentation so far. Are there any other Religions for Peace initiatives on the horizon?
I can answer that one. So we do have a lot of work still ongoing. You can always check out our website, www.rfp.org, to learn more about the work of Religions for Peace. In relation to a bit about our presentation, we also have the Manresa Hub Pact page, which is also linked on our website. And so on that webpage, we'll be updating more information on the work that we did in Manresa and how it will continue into the future and what our future initiatives will be. I don't know if Madeleine has anything to share.
I think I would say also look out at our youth media team page. We are planning some online campaigns on hate speech and the freedom of religion and belief. So, and some trainings as well. So it's all in the process in the making. So yeah, look out on our social media pages and we'll post more information.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Madeleine, are you there again? I saw you in the chat. Okay, I don't think so. Philip said, or Philbert said, great presentation team. If there are any resources that can be used for cascading the impact toolkits, kindly make those shareable. Absolutely, we will share those. Please join the Faith for Earth network. We share newsletters, updates, resources there. And I did see a hand up.
Thanks, Hannah. That was for me. My questions to Carlos. Carlos, what were the challenges you encountered coming up with Amazonia Viva? It sounds like an exciting project, and I just wonder what youth groups need to do in order to replicate amazing solutions like this.
Okay, thank you so much. We found a solution to scale up using a simple device using cell phone together. So we can share the film in the YouTube link, and people using a very simple device can access the film. And we now are making some agreements with a federal agency in charge of products, import products for Brazil, because they arrested lots of cell phones, and they will donate us to use and to create virtual laboratories in the very poor schools in the Amazon region. And now we are trying to convince schools and the states and Secretary of Education to use this device to promote to raising awareness. And I think the main challenge is to show people how powerful is the technology, because most of the older people never used this device before. So when they have the first contact with the technology, they become totally impressed, and most of them trying to find ways to use the device. So now I think the potential is huge, because we are sharing the film without totally free for every organization that can access the headset device or simple or more expensive device. No, it doesn't matter. So I think it's a very good approach to promote to raising awareness about climate change and the protection of forests.
Thank you so much, Carlos. Do we have any other questions? Okay, I'll just briefly share. Carlos. Yes, Madeleine can't join, but she's happy to provide resources about her initiative after the session. But basically, Adamah, the Jewish climate movement, is going to explore how Jewish epistemological frameworks and digital tools are used to address climate anxiety and foster resilience in a unique virtual capacity building program, which essentially involved training elders of their community to use like liberation ideology and somatics to process climate anxiety and grief, and then build youth capacity to take collective action with these skills. So thank you all so much. We will draw this to a close. A huge thank you to the incredible panelists and the work that they and their organizations are doing for people and the planet, and to everyone who joined us today. Thanks again.
Thank you.